Today I am back in front of the beautiful winter window that is giving me lots of light to discuss my top 10 books that are on my bookshelf. Now I have through the years amassed many books and put them all on the bookshelf that is right to my right. You've probably seen it in a bunch of past videos, but I haven't gone over any of the books that are on it. Today I am going over my top 10 that are on my shelf to read. Now last week I was not able to make a video just due to time constraints, so today I am going to be making 3 videos. This is one of the first. Next I'm going to be going over some of the recent books that I picked up, and then the last video that I'm going to be doing is a book on my favorite photography books to help give you inspiration. So if you're interested in any of those will be put out shortly. These are in no particular order as to which ones are important, which ones are not, but they have all been very impactful. I gained a lot of inspiration from them. So, first one has got to be the Bible. This is mine. I actually got it from a thrift store back in Alaska when I lived there. I used it for a lot of classes at the church. Things are underlined. This is the one that I use. I have several others that are different versions, but this is the one that I like to use most often because it's very big. I feel like that should kind of go without saying. If you are a Christian as I am, then probably your first book is going to be the Bible. This is the NIV. I like it. It's easy to read. Number 2, The Chronicles of Narnia. I read most of these while I was in school because I was homeschooled, and these quite literally changed my life. The stories, the imaginative storytelling that is in it has constantly inspired me to create something as great as C.S. Lewis did. A lot of his other works are based on his faith, based on his kind of essay type writing, and I have really enjoyed those writings as well, but the first that I got introduced to him was The Chronicles of Narnia, and it is a fantastic book series. Read it if you haven't. The movies are also pretty good, but the books are always going to be better, in my opinion. Number 3 that I'm going to go into is Fahrenheit 451. This book had been recommended to me multiple times by coworkers, by people that I knew, by people that I trust in the literary space, and by friends, and it did not disappoint. It's about the kind of dystopian world where books are illegal and learning is illegal, and how the government tried to take over learning, knowledge, and control the people with it. It is a stunning book, and especially kind of important for the times that we're in right now, but I would highly recommend it. Yeah. Just the story of his writing it. If you go to the Leaning Tower podcast that Max and I did, we both enjoy this book highly, and he shared some facts about it on the first episode that I did with him on that. So go listen to that. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Love this book. Also a little mid-break interruption. I got this cup yesterday, this mug. I really like it. It's smaller than most of the mugs that I have, and it fits like espresso type drinks. Very good. Number 4 is Matterhorn the Brave. Now this is not a typical book, and I have seen it nowhere else, but I am a massive fan of this book. I picked it up one day. It was my older brother's, and he had gotten it. I had no idea what this book was. Picked it up and read the whole book in one night in bed with one light on. I woke up the next morning and I was incredibly tired. I was probably around 11 or 12, which is the perfect reading age for this book because it's a 12-year-old boy. He goes into a library, gets sucked into a book, and then has to figure out how to be a hero in the midst of this story that he's kind of dropped into. That inspired me to then go get the rest of the series, which is equally fantastic, but this was the original book that got me brought into the saga of Matterhorn the Brave. It is a really good book, and I've never seen it recommended before. So, yeah, I really like this book. we are now in number 5. This is where things kind of get more adult-minded, I would say. Those are kind of more fictional books, and the rest of these are not. Well, one is, but it's definitely adult fiction. Actually, let's talk about now. It is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This is not a good book. Let me just say, it is full of drugs. It is full of a lot of scandalous activity. I don't know, criminal activity. Not great. It's a very, very gritty book, but I listened to it first and then I read it, and it was kind of like my first adult book. And to see what Hunter S. Thompson, a journalist, created was definitely interesting. I really love his style. I then went and got a whole bunch of other books, which I see is now kind of a theme. I get one book and then I get obsessed with either the author or that subject and kind of follow down that path. But he created a book on Hell's Angels. He went with them and drove around and created the story around the research of the bikers group Hell's Angels. He then went on political campaigns and wrote about that. He was a very impressive writer, but this is his fictional story of a real life event that he went to and then kind of fictionalized it all. But this got me interested in a lot of like the 60s, 70s kind of hippie era of writing, and yeah, very inspirational in my cultural interests, I would say. This time is like one of my favorite to read. The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test by Tom Wolfe is also another great book. The Great Shark, which is The Great Shark Hunt, which is kind of a follow-up to this book. The writings that he did, his letters from when he was in the camp to go out and become a soldier, are very interesting to read. I would highly recommend anything written by him, but just know that it's not decent writing, but it's interesting writing. So I can only read a little bit of it before I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. Number 6 is along that line, but I just find it like I could read all of this book, Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. I love food. I love learning about food. I equally love reading Anthony Bourdain. He has a similar brash writing style as Hunter S. Thompson, and he's talked about Hunter S. Thompson before. He led a very troubled life. He ended up committing suicide, and you can kind of tell the troubled life that he leads within this book. It talks about a lot of the underbelly of New York cooking, of his life, of growing up, of trying to become something that he never thought that he could become. And this book changed a lot of my ideas of what a chef does and what a chef's life looks like, I guess. It's really good writing. Yeah, I could read this all day. The way that he writes about food and discusses flavor, discusses what inspires him as a chef, I love this book. Very good book. I don't know what book we're on right now, but I know that I put them all out, so they're they are all here. Should be. I think I might have included one more for 11. Maybe it's just 10. These I would include as one whole book. Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey and Poems and Prayers. I have the signed copy of Poems and Prayers. This one just came out last year, I believe. So this one is his signed copy. This is exactly what it says it is. His poems, his prayers, his bumper stickers, as he calls them. And this is his autobiography, I would say. Goes through a lot of his life and his inspirations, his growing up, his stories. He's a really good storyteller. His stories are zany and out of control, and interesting to see his thoughts and what brought him to where he is and the actor that he is today. So I really like it. I think it is very interesting to see into the mind of anybody who is creative. He is a very good storyteller and writer. So I enjoy these books. I am pairing them together as one entry. Another person that I like to read, and he's only written one book, but this book was fantastic, and I really liked his humorous style. It very much fit his television personality, is Adam Savage, Every Tool's a Hammer, also a signed copy from Barnes & Noble. I only started watching Adam Savage when we were on a trip to, it might have been Anchorage, Alaska, and while we were in the hotel, we were flipping through the channels and came upon Mythbusters, and it was like a whole world opened up to me of what television could be, of what it was, of like this humorous comedian, but still like maker, and then the straight man of Jamie Heineman. And so I got obsessed with that and tried to watch every episode that I could of Mythbusters. Then through that, I found Tested, which is his YouTube channel, and where he makes things and shows you how to make things and actually brings more of the science behind it and the maker type mentality behind it. I think that if you are a creative person, if you are a maker, if you are a carpenter, like you like making with your hands, or if you like channels like Casey Neistat, Van Neistat, anybody who is creative, I would definitely recommend reading this. I think that it goes into the mind of somebody who likes to work with their hands and is a little kind of ADHD and has to be doing something constantly. I really like this book. Good read. Next, I would say this book, A Tale of Two Cities, changed my opinion on the writer. I had to read for school several Charles Dickens books. It might have been Oliver Twist that I had to read first, and it was an absolute chore to read it. I could not get into his writing style. I could not get into the cadence of him, and I just despised Charles Dickens. I put him aside. I thought that I would never enjoy him, and I could never get into it. Then my senior year, I had a course on English, like British literature, and I read A Tale of Two Cities, and that changed my mind on Charles Dickens. Rereading him later in life totally opened up my mind to, wow, this guy actually was an amazing writer. His sentences are incredibly long. His paragraphs are incredibly long. And yes, a sentence might be the length of a whole page, but the structure of it and just the way that he wrote was super interesting. And then my younger brother, who is 5 years younger than me, was also going through, I believe it was Oliver Twist or one of those, another book, and listening to him discuss it made me reread that book. And like being at an older age gave me more experience with him and gave me a better mind to understand him. And now he is definitely one of my favorite authors of like a classic book. So if you have read an author that people often kind of praise for what they are and you didn't get it when you were younger, I would definitely recommend go back and reread it. Tale of Two Cities, highly recommend it, especially if you aren't a fan of Dickens. Next book that I would say is one of my favorites that is on my bookshelf. I am only discussing the books that are on my bookshelf. There are a lot more books that I have read, a lot more books that I enjoy. If you like me talking about books, I have a ton of books that I could go through. This book changed my mind about business. It changed my mind about pursuing what you love to do. And the author also is very inspirational. Tim Ferriss, he has a book, got famous for the book 5 Hour Workweek. He has a podcast. He is a author of so many books, like The 5 Hour Body, where he delves more into fitness, The 5 Hour Chef, where he delves into food, cooking, preparation, nutrition. definitely more of a science type guy, business type guy. And in this book, he interviewed like the top minds behind business, behind companies, behind science, and just really asked them questions. Let me see. He talked to Jocko Willink, who is the like crazy, super strong Navy SEAL guy, and asked them, "What would you put on a billboard? Why would you get up early in the morning? What's your favorite drink? What makes a good commander?" He just asks people that are really smart, really simple questions to get their answer. And he talked to Tony Robbins, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Robert Rodriguez, who's a director. Like, he talked to so many different people in so many different fields. And no matter who you are and what type of profession you are in or interested in getting in, there are answers for you in this book. Last on my list of favorite books on my shelf is, I'm going to say, my photo books. For one book, I'm putting all of my photo books, specifically the ones that give you a story as well as the photos that the story is based on. I think that the biggest inspiration behind this for me was this book right here, The Heirloomist by Shanna Novak. She takes photos of objects, like this ring, and talks about the story behind it. Yeah, there are so many different books like this, and I love them all because they are photos, intricate photos, really detailed photos, and then the story of why it's important to that person. There's one on watches that I have, one on cars that I have, one on clothes, Emily Spivak. This is the one on watches, Manez Watch, Matt Hreineck, Accidentally Wes Anderson. This is not as much a story, but just a really beautiful book, and so many more that I will be going into in the follow-up video to this. But yeah, if you are going to be a photographer, if you are going to even go into YouTube like this, I think that it's important to have a motivation behind it, and you need to be telling a story of some kind or showing a beautiful thing. And those books help with inspiration behind that. So that is my list of 10, maybe plus books that you can either just know more about me from, or possibly gain some inspiration to read yourself or delve more into. I hope that this video has been entertaining in the very least. If you liked it, drop a like and give me a comment on what I can do or some book recommendations that you might have. Everybody have a good one, and I will see you in the follow-up video. Whoosh.